Welcome back to the conversation. I'm glad you're here. Look, a lot of things are going on when it comes to medicine, when it comes to what's happening in the headlines, whether it's Joe Biden, and then I see COVID shots back on the headlines, and I'm like, what's going on? Time to get an expert. Dr. Joel Kahn is a preventative cardiologist and the founder of the Kahn Center for Cardiac Longevity. Doctor, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Steve.
Greatly appreciate you being here. All right, let's start with the big headlines. All right, Joe Biden. They reveal that he has prostate cancer that is metastasized to his bones. Look, you're a doctor. You work at a very high level with a lot of, well-known doctors around this country. Prostate cancer is about the easiest thing to diagnose. I know that. Everybody knows that. And yet he presents with a case that has already metastasized. It seems to me we weren't told the whole truth, Doctor. Am I just being pessimistic, or is there something that makes you go, wait a second?
Well, it's very suspicious. It has been reported that he hasn't had the basic blood test that you've had and I've had called a prostate-specific antigen, or a PSA, absolutely routine, inexpensive blood test, since about 2014, if I read that. So
that's right.
It is possible that there was a slow-growing cancer undetected. Why they didn't do the blood test with all the annual presidential physicals.
Well, let me ask you that. There's a claim out there that once you're 70 years old, they don't do prostate testing anymore. I didn't realize. Is that actually true?
There actually is a recommendation that we can drop it, because if you diagnose prostate cancer in an elderly man, it grows so slowly, the treatments are not pleasant. You're probably going to choose to just watch and wait anyways. I think there's been a big pushback. In fact, some have reported that there's been a rise in prostate cancer in older men,
right?
Since, at least advanced prostate cancer, since that change occurred. So, you can always buy a blood test, for $20 on the market. It's very easy to do. It'd be quite remarkable if he hadn't had a PSA blood test in 11 years. So it is possible, asymptomatic, boom, he gets the blood test, they feel a nodule, and he's already got, but he could have picked it up earlier, of course. The second alternative, and it's the conspiracy one, is the turbo cancer that, the vaccinations from the COVID activity may be accelerating cancer growth very rapidly because it's destroying our immune system.
Right. And possibility number three, of course, that they did know and they didn't tell anybody. So, but let's talk about COVID for a moment here and the vaccines. Headlines are that the COVID vaccines are back this fall, and the FDA is going ahead and going to give the green light to people getting the COVID vaccine. Look, you're a cardiologist. You see what goes on. Would you recommend? Look, I'm almost 60 years old. Would you recommend a COVID shot for me?
Well, you're actually, as a very healthy 6-year-old, going to the gym with your wife, working out hard. You're actually in the document that was published in the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine yesterday by our new director of COVID biologics, Vinay Prasad, and our new director of the FDA, Martin Makary, and all that. I want to make sure he's not director of the CDC, but we'll give a pass on that for him. And he's FDA, like I said.
Right.
That there's going to be a whole new program about evaluating COVID vaccines. So on the one hand, just that there's a conversation, and that there are some people that are not going to be advised to get the vaccine. Healthy people your age, Steve. I just passed the 66 mark, so I don't fit in the low risk group anymore. You do. It's a refreshing conversation. Also refreshing.
Well, wait a second. At 66, you're in the high risk group?
Yep. Anything over 65.
Well, let me ask you the question then. The obvious question, doctor, is would you advise people 66 years old that are healthy like yourself, obviously, to get this injection?
Well, I know it's a controversial statement, but you're a controversial guy. If you have a physician willing to treat you early and completely, should you develop symptoms of COVID, which is out there, but it's a mild disease for almost everybody nowadays, I would say no. Just get somebody that can throw in and take care of yourself. Eat well, be fit, drop the weight, get a good vitamin D level, maybe throw in some other vitamin C and others. things that might be called the McCullough preventive protocol or the FLCCC preventive protocol. There's quite a bit of data that twice a day spraying your nose and mouth with a variety of simple disinfectants as a routine is dramatically effective as a preventive. These cost pennies a day. So the answer is no. If you can develop a simple
Just
little.
no. And that's what I was getting around to. I don't think that's controversial, Doctor. I think that I think most people watching this program right now would say, I'm not getting it. I mean, we were led down that garden path. We were told to get the vaccine. Right. We were told to put on masks that we knew would do nothing. Yeah. We were told to stay 6 feet apart that had absolutely no impact on anything. We were told we couldn't go to the Home and Garden Center in Michigan, right, which I know you live here, which is absolutely absurd,
we couldn't
right?
buy seeds. We couldn't buy seeds in Michigan. Crazy.
Yeah, you couldn't plant a garden.
Now, the most hopeful announcement was about 2 weeks ago, but in the Wall Street Journal, that we are expecting them to no longer recommend routine COVID shots to pregnant women and to children. But yesterday's publication left pregnancy in a gray zone because they considered pregnancy a high-risk group.
I would absolutely not do that. If I had a pregnant wife or a child that was pregnant and to have a grandchild, absolutely not would be my answer. What would be yours?
I agree with you. There's no doubt about it. And as I say, this is a murky report. They're going to require the manufacturers to do additional testing, additional randomized trials, additional outcome data. All of that's good. But did it go far enough? Is this enough of a pushback on this, I would call it unsuccessful program that we've had since December 2020?
Here's the bottom line, Doctor. The bottom line is we learned our lesson. Once burned, twice shy, is the way I feel about COVID vaccines and all of that. Dr. Joel Kahn, preventative cardiologist. You can find out more at the Kahn Center. That's Kahn. Doctor, always appreciate your insights, sir. Thank you.
Be healthy.
Be healthy, eat healthy, take care of yourself. Garbage in, garbage out. That's right. That's it. We'll take a break and be right back.